Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic, and today we're going to do a love reading. So, this is mostly for people who are single and looking for love, and they're wondering what kind of patterns in my love life are playing out, what is going on in my love life, and why have I not met that person yet, and also, like, who am I? What do I need? And what kind of person is best for me? So I feel like that's what we're going to talk about today. If you are already in a relationship, that is totally fine too. You might learn a lot about your love interest by watching this. So please pick from one of these three groups. You can pick group number 1, group number 2, and then group number 3. And feel free to jump to the timestamp in the comment section or the description box below. It can help to pause the video and meditate on it if you want. Please keep in mind that these readings are general readings, and so not everything may resonate with you because they're meant for like a wide variety of people. But if you've picked with your intuition and you've listened to your inner wisdom, then you should be getting some really powerful messages and insight from the cards no matter what. I apologize if I'm missing a nail or 2 or 3. They just kind of fell off, but whatever. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to your love life reading. If you have picked the amethyst crystal, then you are in the right place. This is your reading. And today we're going to talk about relationship patterns that play out and different energies that I'm sensing when it comes to your love life that may be inhibiting you from, getting into the relationship that you desire or being with the person that you're meant to be with. Okay, so now we're going to look at any themes that show up in your love life. The nectar. Okay, so the nectar is like medicine, right? And for you, love is medicine. There's a lot of healing that happens for you through relationships and through the people that you're with and the connections that you make. And I feel like in a way you're kind of addicted to love and to praise almost. Maybe it's not praise, but you definitely find it important when people tell you, like they tell you how they feel about you, or they give you compliments. I'm just getting the sense that words of affirmation, yeah, that's your love language. I swear I know how to shuffle, guys. Let me do it closer. Okay, so we have the black egg. Oh my God, this makes so much sense. It's all about expression and having your voice and being heard, but also you are all about words of affirmation. You love to hear about love. Like you love to hear love. I could see you even getting into like sappy, romantic situations like that only really happen in romantic movies or romance comedies. Love bombing could be a problem. I want to look a little bit deeper, but you're not afraid to express your emotions, basically. You're not afraid to tell someone how you feel. And I think that's very important for you, is also just being able to open up and feel like you can say anything. Now, with the nectar and the black egg, this also indicates that you're someone who probably really likes oral sex, whether that's giving head or getting head or, any type of oral sex. I'm getting the sense that that might be your jam and that it might be actually really important for you to have a partner who wants to do that with you in a romantic relationship in your love life. The manticore and the minotaur. Okay, so the minotaur is reversed here, which is going to add an extra layer. So the manticore, well, it looks really scary, okay, is really indicative of someone who is the executioner, someone who isn't afraid to make decisions, and they're happiest when things are decisive. It's like you don't want someone who's wishy-washy. You want someone who like knows what they want. They're on the path with you, and I feel like you're least favorite type of relationship is the one where things are kind of vague, like where you don't really know what you want, where you don't really know where things are going. Like there's this feeling of you have to know your direction. You can be kind of a perfectionist, maybe you have this idea of what you want in a relationship, and so you will stop at nothing to achieve that. And I'm getting the sense that you do have this perfect ideal for love. Like you have this ideal for love, and we'll look further into it. But the outcome does matter for you. And you might be the kind of person that really thinks ahead. They want a plan. You know, they don't like it when someone just like shows up unexpected. Like they might have a very strong plan of what they want when it comes to romance and love, and they don't want to do things halfway. When they're all in, they're all in. Like that's who they are, and their words can cut, right? Like they are sharp, you know, and the things that they say really impact the people around them, especially the people they love. And they're like knives, you know, they're very impactful and they leave a mark. I feel like wherever they go, they leave a mark. They know how to get straight to the juicy moments. They're very like intentional. I'm also getting the sense that you would really like to be in a relationship. You would be happiest in a relationship where things are very intentional, where they're not all over the place, but where you really both put your all into it and you make decisions and you kind of are organized in a way. I feel like, I know that doesn't sound very romantic to a lot of people, but for you, I feel like you would really be happier in a place where you know where you're going and where you can see the details and things, and where details do matter and they're not just kind of shrugged off, like they're not just kind of ignored. I feel like in a lot of relationships, we just kind of ignore the details. But for you, I feel like you would be happiest with someone who, you know, is kind of part of your plan or part of your, it's like you're chiseling away at the toxicity in your life. Like I feel like you'd be someone who's really good at letting people go when they no longer serve you. Like that's something that would make you happy, is just kind of culling all the toxic people and all the toxic relationships. You don't want any toxic partners. Like, and I feel like that comes from a place of knowing, because maybe you've been lost in a relationship before, or you haven't really been sure. I do think defining the relationship is important to you, and just kind of having this idea of knowing where it's going, you know, and being happy like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like your partner can really rely on you to take care of things that maybe they wouldn't want to take care of. And they have their own role in the relationship. You're very vocal about it. You're vocal about what you want. You cut to the truth. I feel like the truth is so important to you. Your nectar in this case would also be the truth. I feel like I'm getting the sense that honesty is like everything for you. You have to be honest, and you need people to be honest with you and be real with you. The Minotaur is telling me that you basically are happiest. Yes, like it's very similar to the Manticore. The Minotaur reverse is telling me that you don't like not knowing your path, basically. You don't want to be lost in the labyrinth. And there's a lot of fear around that for you. For some reason, you have this need for extreme clarity on situations. And I'm just getting the sense that for you, losing yourself in love isn't as fun as it could be for other people. Like a lot of us, we like to just get lost in the romance and the love. But for you, part of what is romantic is being able to build with someone and have this sense of like structure and knowing where you're going and planning. And I'm just getting this feeling of, okay, so I know exactly what I want and where to go, and I need someone who isn't going to take my independence away from me. You have a very independent vibe, a very strong, authentic self, and I feel like you can't be with someone who just makes you feel like you have to take a different turn, and you're not going to follow somebody. I'm just getting the sense you're not going to follow somebody. You want to be able to follow your own path and be with someone who is kind of uplifting you. And, you know, and I feel like these sound scary or these sound weird to a lot of people, but for you, I think there's a sense of safety and security that you get from being able to vocalize your needs. And communication is just like very important, and honesty and truth and getting to the truth is very important. If someone fucks with your truth, like if someone takes it for granted or isn't honest with you, then you are going to get rid of that person. Like I feel like you're the kind of person that just won't stand for that. You know, you won't let that person around if they are going to bullshit you. And I feel like you have like this very honest, kind of mature energy that comes across here. So I'm going to move these over here so I can stay on camera. I also want to point out that success is very important to you, but it's the outcome for you that often matters most. Like I said, there's these perfectionist qualities to your love, and sometimes that can make it hard because that causes you to have standards and expectations that not everyone you will meet will understand or will be okay with. Like I feel like you have, like, you don't just want any love, like you have a set of standards and expectations, and there's this quality of love that you're looking for, and you're not just gonna like settle, you know, you're not gonna settle. And I think that's fantastic. I think too many of us settle for something just because we want to be in a relationship or we want love. But I feel like for you, what's so important is that you don't settle, and you don't ever feel like you're settling. And so in a relationship, I feel like you're going to want things to like be better in the end. I feel like your happily ever after is important to you. You may not call it that. It may just be an energetic thing, but like I feel like your happy ending, like the way things turn out, whether that's you get married or whether that's you want a family, like those things are going to be super important for your happiness. And yes, the journey is very important. I always say that. But for you, it's like you have this vision, these things that you want, and those are the things that are going to bring you joy. And so it's kind of about figuring out what that vision should look like and what those things are, instead of focusing on all the little details. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's like you have to find a balance there. Having a plan is important to you, but it's also like planning ahead for everything. So sometimes spontaneous things are actually not going to be as rewarding for you as if, like, instead you should be planning a trip or planning things. Like, you know, it sounds great, but I feel like your most rewarding experiences would be planning. And I'm getting the sense that without a plan and without like a map, you're going to feel very lost, and it's going to feel very unsettling for you. And I'm just getting the sense that you will encounter a lot of those moments where you have to choose between doing things like on the go or doing things with a plan. And you're always going to be better at, you know, channeling that planner, that inner planner, that visionary that you have. You're a visionary. And I'm also getting the sense that you're happiest with a partner who can actually accept criticism, and where you can both kind of accept criticism, like where you're able to criticize each other and not, it can't be the end of the world, you know? And of course, criticizing doesn't mean insulting and treating someone like shit, but it does mean being able to like say your opinion. I get the sense that you're very opinionated. You have very strong opinions, and you're not afraid to tell them, not afraid to voice them. And so I feel like you are going to be able to be happiest with someone who can really accept your opinions, or they don't even have to like your opinions, but they have to be able to have this back and forth with you. And I feel like you really grow and connect with people who have differences in their opinions, who may not always agree with everything you say. Like, you don't want someone to parrot everything back to you. You want someone who is, you know, their own person and has their own thoughts and will really kind of come through in that sense. But I'm getting the sense that you have a very intellectual side, and you're very witty and sharp, and you're very intelligent. And you need someone who can match that. You need someone who isn't afraid to say something back, you know, or snap back at you. Like, because you can turn into this very decisive person, and you don't want to be the one who's just calling all the shots. Like, you want to be with someone who's able to push back, you know, or somebody who's able to bounce ideas off of you and who isn't afraid to take a little criticism. Like, it's okay, you know, you don't have to be super judgy, but it's okay to judge a little sometimes. We all do it. And you don't want to be with someone who's not capable of taking that. I'm also getting that you would be happy in a relationship with someone who is kind of not exotic, but like who comes from elsewhere, like who comes from a different country. I'm getting the sense that culture could really impact how your relationship goes, you know, and you're somebody, I feel like, who could speak different languages or connect with someone who speaks a completely different language than you, but who you are able to kind of have this communication with anyway without speaking their language, basically. I feel like I'm not channeling the black egg today. I feel very bad at talking for some reason. I feel very like, I don't know, like my throat chakra is not balanced. So I apologize if all this sounds kind of crazy. So let's look at like what good traits you have that people might be into, or how your potential love interests see you and what they like about you, what they are attracted to. You have this way of lighting people up. Like, you have this kind of optimism to you. I'm getting the sense that you're somebody who is able to really inspire people, and when people are around you, they just feel uplifted. They feel better. They feel brighter. They feel empowered. And it's funny because even when you really have no idea what the fuck is going on, you somehow find a way to bring light to the situation. I feel like you're like the silver lining of the situation. Like, even when you're blind to everything going on around you, you have this ability to make the most of a situation. You have this kind of survivor attitude, but it makes people smile. Like, I'm just seeing you making people smile, making people feel comfortable. And you have this way of giving people hope. I think that when we're around people who are visionaries and people who are really good at talking and expressing themselves, people can automatically feel more confident opening up as well. And I feel like you have that kind of contagious energy of being able to open up. And even if you don't see it, I feel like other people are seeing it. I also feel like people like that you are interested in other cultures. I feel like you have this need to travel, or you like traveling, or you have a desire to travel. And I'm seeing you as someone who has sat back for so long and who actually really wants to explore further and explore the world. You give people hope, you make people smile, you light people up, and you just have this like very vibrant, brilliant energy. What I'm also getting is that maturity can also affect your love. So if you haven't found the love of your life yet, this has a lot to do with maturity and timing. I feel like timing is everything for you. So I'm going to look a little bit further at what people maybe don't like about you, because that would, you know, suck. So the Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing card, but sometimes it can come across as like mothering. And in relationships, we don't want to be with a partner who mothers us or who's like overly a caretaker of us. We just want to be with someone who makes us feel, you know, like an equal and treats us like an equal. And I feel like it's not that you're not treating someone like an equal. I just feel like you haven't met the right person who is your match and who can meet your standards. I don't think it's wrong to have standards. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to have strong expectations of know what you want in love. I do think it's important to be open-minded, but I'm not getting that you're not open-minded. I'm just getting that you have high standards And you want quality. Like, quality is important to you. Luxury can be a really big deal for you, and it's not luxury in the sense of like wealth and needing money, although that probably can be nice, right? It could be that, actually. And so it can make it hard for people to connect with you because they might not feel good enough, or they might feel like you just have all these like needs, I guess. They might label you as high maintenance. I don't like that label at all. I think that's stupid. I think we all have needs that are different, and we will find that person that is able to, you know, match us and be with us. And I feel like you just have to find that person, but it's harder for you. I feel like love is a little harder for you because you just have like this strong sense of self, and you need to take care of others. But at the same time, like, the Queen of Cups tells me that you have a very sensitive side, and it's not like you're like this household, you know, it's not brutal. Like, you have this strong energy, but I do feel like you have a very volatile emotional nature sometimes. You can be very sensitive. You care so deeply about things that when they don't turn out the way you want, sometimes you can feel very overwhelmed by that, you know? I feel like energetically you have this very strong presence and this strong energy, and you have this ability to just see things in the future almost. Like, you could even have psychic energy here. With the Black Egg, that's a very psychic card as well. And I'm also getting the sense that with the Seven of Swords, that you can use your words in a deceptive way if you want to. Like, you have this ability to be very persuasive with your words, and you know how to get what you want. Yes, you value truth, but I feel like you might be a decent liar. Like, I'm not trying to call you a liar, but I feel like if you had to hide things, you could, you know, and it's not something to be proud of, but I am getting the sense that people might not trust what you say as much, and they have to go by that energy. But sometimes when people seem too good to be true, or too on top of things, or they just speak so well, you have trouble like believing them, or I don't know, they can come across as kind of phony. So I'm not trying to say you sound phony, but I feel like some people might think you're kind of fake, because you are not an easy person to understand. I feel like you have so many layers, right? Like, there's this, at your core, there's this like sweet gentleness, but then at the other end of that, there's like this kind of like, you need to do things a certain way, and you can be peculiar about them, and you don't put up with bullshit and toxicity, right? Like, you don't want a toxic relationship. You want to know where you're going. There's a sense of certainty that you need. You get people. Like, you have this ability to connect with people from all walks of life. And so people see you and they don't fully understand all the puzzle pieces. You might overreact at times. I could see you being someone who's very sensitive and emotional, and you overreact, or you might make a scene if you're really not happy with how things are going. And I feel like your fights in a relationship could be very dramatic. I'm actually going to make some space here. So I want to use some runes for this next part. Okay, so we have Sowilo, we have Uruz reversed, we have Dagas, and Ingwas. Okay, so all right, so I'm automatically getting this sense that you need someone who doesn't mind leaving you in the spotlight, but who also doesn't mind being in it once in a while. I feel like the spotlight is actually very important to you, whether you realize it or not. You have to have a place to be your authentic self, and often you find yourself in public situations. So I feel like this person has to be kind of on the same page with you. I'm also going to use another card here. Okay, so we have the Brownie. So the Brownie is someone who's very hardworking, someone who's very diligent, but also helpful. You know, the Brownie is happy to help out. Like, if you are someone who doesn't like the dishes or to do the dishes, I feel like the Brownie is someone who's going to step up and do the thing that you don't want to do. And I feel like they balance you out so well. Like they're not afraid to get down and dirty with you and do things and like explore things, but I also feel like they take a very supportive role in your life. They need to let you step forward and kind of cull things. I feel like honesty has to be very important to them. You both need to be very honest and have a very open sense of, honesty. I feel like you're somebody who can get very caught up in things, and you tend to get burnt out. Like you use up all your energy on certain things and you experience burnout. And I feel like with the brownie here, you need somebody who will take on the load, like who will help you out when you're tired. Like this person is somebody who, they may not be the most like forward person in the world, but they have this gentle energy that will do whatever it takes to be with you and be happy, and isn't afraid to work hard to get that. And I think it's so beautiful. Like you have just this very strong, like this person also probably has good manners. They probably are very like neat. Like I feel like you need to be with someone who is clean, like who has this kind of cleanliness. And I don't think it's important for it to be like anal clean, like, but I do feel like this person balances you out in a way. You both have this sense of structure and organization. I feel like you both need to be organized. So I think that's the kind of person you're really going to vibe with. This person is supportive, smart, a good listener. They are helpful. They really care about their space and care about your space. And there's someone who's very domestic. I feel like they would make good like spouse material, like for marriage. I feel like there's somebody who would be very supportive and kind of let you take the reins. I'm getting Leo energy. So Willow is a sunshine rune, and I feel that sunshine coming off of it. This person could definitely share your sun sign, I feel like. So whatever sun sign you are, I would look in your chart and see. And I also would look at what house your sun is in, because I feel like that's the house you should look at for like where you're going to meet your person. And look at like what aspects are happening in your chart when it comes to the sun. I just feel like that's where you're going to find those answers when it comes to astrology. We have Uru's reversed. And I want to look at why this person isn't in your life. Like, what is stopping that from happening? Okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles. I'll just go ahead and put down some more cards. 10 of Cups, that's good. 2 of Cups, fabulous. This is great. So I am getting the sense that there are multiple reasons that you have not met this person yet. I'm getting the sense that for many of you, it could be a health thing. I feel like you might be going through some stuff that has been affecting your health. Uru's reverse often can mean like sexual health as well. It's also about priority. I see you feeling like you can't prioritize your work and your love life. Like I feel like you have to balance them, and you might have chosen a path because that's what made sense to you. Maybe you chose work and threw yourself into that instead of being with the person you love or looking for love, maybe because it was easier, maybe not. But I'm sensing some fear around like going after what you want now. For some reason, I'm sensing that you have this kind of, there have been a lot of opportunities for you to meet this person. It's not like it's never happened or you never had the chance. Like, no, I see this person being presented to you at many moments. Like I feel like your life, the universe has kind of thrown this person at you so many times, this potential love, but you have always missed out on those opportunities. These changes, these sudden changes and spontaneity can scare you. They can be very scary, but I feel like because you've tried to plan everything out, it's like when this person comes along, they're not like, you can't get to them, right? Because it's just like you've been missing out on opportunities to meet this person, basically. And that's because you haven't been prioritizing love. You haven't had the motivation, perhaps. Maybe you just haven't had a reason. A lot of us make excuses why not to focus on our love life, or you think, oh, well, they'll just come to me, and I'll manifest them. Maybe you've tried and it was super hard and you went on dating apps. I don't know. But like, the point is, there's this fear of missing out. And the fact is that opportunities have presented themselves to you and you haven't been able to take them. And like I said, health is a big thing, and Uru's reverse is really about ill health and being unhealthy. So maybe this could have something to do with it, is that you've been very health focused and making sure that you're doing the right thing, and finding someone who aligns with that may be difficult. There's something holding you back, and I think that it has to do with what you're pouring your energy into. Remember, Soilo has a lot to do with vitality and how we are using our energy and making sure we're doing it properly. The Two of Pentacles is telling me that, like, you have to kind of figure out what's more important to you. And as far as what's blocking you here from doing that, I am getting the sense that part of it is just like you need to embrace that things need to change. I feel like you've been on this path for a while. You need to kind of evolve, I guess. Yeah, evolve. Dagas is the butterfly rune. It's the transformation. I feel like you need to level up in a sense. And I see that for you, especially when it comes to family and really acceptance, like accepting that you deserve love, that you can have love, and that you can have this person, and that love takes on many different shapes and sizes, and it's universal. It's this overall thing. It's what we all are connected by. You might be very focused on the physical, or maybe the materialistic planes. I'm not calling you materialistic, but I just feel like you need to look at your spiritual side, and really look into your emotions and your feelings. I'm getting the sense that building a family is actually really important here. I could see a lot of domestic values in your love. I feel like you could really run a household. And then we also have this Inguas, which I call the orgasm rune. But it's really the rune of completion. It's the climax of your love life, and it amplifies the sun. It amplifies the day. And so I just feel like the longer you go on this path, the better it's going to be for you. I'm sensing marriage. I'm sensing you finding your soulmate, you finding the one for you. That is your reading. I'm very happy with how it went. I hope you are too. I feel like I'm a little scrambled, so I apologize. It's been a while since I've made a video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. I would love to hear your comments in the comments section. Let me know what you think, and subscribe. Bye. Hello. Welcome, group number 2. If you picked the rose quartz, then this is your reading. You're in the right place. We're going to talk about relationship themes and love life. This is for people who want to manifest love, and we're looking at what's going to hold them back, what are some major themes going on, and what kind of partner we need, and who it is we desire. So we have the box. We have the whale. We have the Eastern Dragon reverse. Gonna make room here. And we have the Kirin. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. Don't hate me. Okay, so first of all, we have the box, and the box is really representative of our boundaries and limits, right? And we all have these expectations put on us by society and what your norm is, whatever that is. And it's usually what our parents want or the way we were raised. There are a lot of societal norms that we feel like we have to abide by, and we're taught what is right or wrong based on those things that aren't necessarily authentic to us. And I feel like for you, your deeper connections really come from within your own comfort zone. So what I'm getting is you have been through a lot. The whale is somebody who has been through so much, but they have this ability to really connect with others so deeply. They love so deeply, they feel so deeply, and they have this wisdom that they carry around with them, this old soul aura. Whether it's from their current life or past lives, they have been through a ton of shit. So it's not their first rodeo when it comes to love. And they do not want to repeat the same mistakes. They have this they carry this like very strong presence, and they have the weight of that baggage on their shoulders at all times. And it's like a constant reminder for them. So if this resonates with you, just know that it's okay to work through things. I feel like the fact that you are healing is a good thing because you're able to connect so deeply, and you can also heal others through healing yourself. I'm getting the sense that for you, a relationship, you don't need to like be crazy or wild, right? You don't need to like do things that are super out there for love. You know, you don't need to run a mile for somebody or do these like, or go on an adventure to find your soulmate. I feel like you find love where you're at. And I feel like that means that you kind of do things by the book and you're okay with that. So you might be very classic when it comes to romance, maybe traditional, like you kind of know where you're at and you're okay with that. I love that about you. You have this strong ability to just like tolerate things. I feel like you kind of put up with a lot of things, but you know what it is important. Like you know what matters, and that's what keeps you going. You know what love is, and you know how to deeply connect with people. My throat chakra is so off, guys. I'm so sorry if I'm not like connecting very deeply right now with you. But I'm trying. Basically, you're somebody who's very like comfortable within your own bounds, within your own boundaries, and you're not going to push yourself or go do something crazy in the name of love. Like you have been there, done that. You've done the whirlwind stuff that may not be as healthy, but that is like exciting and passionate. You've done a lot of things, but now you're going to find this mature type of relationship that is more traditional. I'm just getting the sense that you're kind of old-fashioned. You have an old soul. You want to connect with someone at your own pace, do it your way, and you don't need like gimmicks or you don't need to wow them. There's something about you that people who love you just are so drawn in by. I just feel like you have this very magnetic presence. I feel like you can connect with people through dreaming. There's something about you that is very spiritual. I could see you really wanting to kind of blend in, like not need to stand out. I could see you wanting to really just be comfortable with where you're at with somebody and share that with somebody. And I just sense that you have gotten through so many challenges and you have so much to share with your loved one. Like I feel like you will really connect in that way. And you have this strong stability. Like I feel like you might even be kind of a rock for a lot of your lovers. You are somebody that they can lean on, and they know that from you. Like it's comforting. You're somebody who just has a lot of strength that they can lean on. And I feel like you're very compassionate, you're very caring, you're very loving. And when you love, you give it your all. In the past, it might have made you feel like trapped. I feel like if you were the person you were in the past, I feel like you were kind of trapped or you felt suffocated sometimes by relationships. But now it's almost like you're ready for love. It's like you're ready to find that person who will meet you where you're at and who just will be there with you and journey with you. I could see you being very old-fashioned. Like, I feel like you're very traditional and conventional in many ways. Like, people might think it's boring, but you think it's beautiful. You know, I could just see you with a white picket fence, like this traditional idea of what a family is. There's just this sense of like, it's very humble too. You know, with the Eastern Dragon, when it's reversed, it means that prestige and wealth doesn't really matter. Like, you don't care if someone's social status is higher or lower. Like, that's not what you see in a person. I feel like you're not going to be with someone who cares so much about that stuff, like who's ambitious. I don't feel like you would be happy in a relationship where there's like ambition and goals. Like, that's not the kind of relationship you are in. I feel like you kind of have this presence already, this knowledge and wisdom of who you want. And you have all this experience, and you know that the little things, these like, that's what they are. They're little things, right? They're this idea of labels and prestige or recognition. Like, you don't care. You have this kind of humble mentality. That's what makes you happy in a relationship, is being in this place where you don't have to worry about, you know, fitting in or pleasing people or just like being at a certain status or being superior or inferior. I feel like you have this very general, maybe not general, but it's very genuine. That's the word. Genuine love. And I feel like that's what you want with a partner. You just want this kind of genuine love. You don't want to be higher or lower or be with a certain person. You don't need them to be famous. You don't care about your reputation. And you want someone who like says, fuck reputation. You know, you want someone who's down with you with that. Like, you want someone who won't care if, you know, like you're on the internet together for some random reason and you get bad comments. I don't know. That's my point. Like, you just don't care, you know, and that's great. Like, you don't want that. Some people really value that, really want to be in a relationship with someone who they can rise through the ranks with. Oh my God. You also have a very down-to-earth energy. I feel like you wouldn't be happy with, you're not looking for miracles. You don't resonate with miracles or overnight success. I just feel like you want something very real, very down-to-earth. I think your love is just very grounded and very realistic. Okay, gonna move all this up here. I feel like in a relationship, you like to be treated like a queen or a king, whatever, you know, you identify with. But I feel like you have this kind of, you demand honor. Like, you need somebody who respects you. You have dignity. Like, you need someone a partner who really respects you. I feel like respect is a big theme for you, and honor. So loyalty, respect, honor, all those traits are super important. And I feel like they're kind of old-fashioned, you know? I mean, they're great, but they're very old-fashioned values, you know, to their core. And that's what you want. You want someone who's going to respect you. And a very respectful relationship is a happy relationship for you. I also feel like because you've been through a lot, you just have so much gratitude for when things are good and when things are right. Like, you have this sense of, you know, you're so grateful, you're so thankful to be with this person, and you have this appreciation for them. You really need to go out and have fun. Like, I see you really being in this place of, even when you're in a relationship, you have to go out and have a good time. And not just with your partner. Like, I see having friends being super important to you. I think that there are people that have been through things with you and you have a very strong support system, or having that is super important to you. You have this kind of party animal side that only comes out at certain times. Like, it's not something people would really know about you or guess about you, but that you know how to have fun and have a good time. And I could see you doing some pretty wild things, like, you know, and I do see that you might like, you know, drinking or having a good glass of wine. just really letting loose. And I think that's super important for you in a relationship. I just feel like you have to balance out the fun and the serious. That's just how it is. All right, so let's look a little bit further at what people really like about you, like what potential love interests really enjoy about you in relationships or what they're attracted to. Okay, so we have the Lovers. That's a good start. We have the Emperor, the Ace of Cups. Fantastic. Oh my God. Okay, so automatically we have, you're a very passionate lover, I would say. But I'm also getting this feeling that you check all the boxes. It's almost like, you know, that saying, like, you check all my boxes, or like you're like the perfect person for me. I'm just getting the sense that you have all these traits that are really ideal in a soulmate. Like you're very good looking. I see you being very attractive. You have this kind of traditional values. I see that you might be really into getting married, or, you know, following kind of the rules or the law of relationships. Chivalry, I see that chivalry might be important to you, or, you know, red roses, like some very classic love. I just see you being someone who really knows, like, who knows the ins and the outs of dating, like the game, I guess, and who's really able to embrace the traditional side of it. Like, they don't try to veer away from it. They go all in. I see you being someone who really likes romantic gestures and who's able to really perform them and give that to your lover. And I see that intimacy and sex is something that is very important. I just feel like the values in your love life are very appealing to other people. It's like you fit a lot of different types of relationships and types of people. I feel like you could draw a lot of different people in because you just have this aura to you that a lot of people are looking for. It's almost like you just have those traits that someone is looking for in a lover. You know, whether it's they're good at sex, a good kisser, whether it's like the romance part and being swept away. I just feel like you are just kind of very traditional in that sense. And I can tell like that this is something very important. The people you attract tend to be very conventional. I also see that you're a very good gift giver. Maybe that's something you pride yourself on, but you're also very giving. You're not afraid to take charge. And people like that about you. You have these strong boundaries and you're not afraid to say no. And I think what people don't get is that boundaries can be super sexy. Like being able to show that you don't put up with stuff or you're not easily swayed. It can actually be really like a huge turn on for people. And I'm getting the sense that that's what you are. Like you are someone who stands by your morals. I feel like you have very strong values, strong morals, and I feel like you kind of walk around with an air of respect. Like you demand respect and you keep your dignity intact. And I don't see you as someone who needs to be the center of attention at all. But you are there for your partner. I just see you being very committed to them. I see you working really well in relationship. I feel like you're just like very good long-term relationship material. And when you're in it and you're very committed and loyal and compassionate and you bring a lot to the table. I feel like you also are someone who may have more experience when it comes to love. Like you're not looking for something super innocent or pure. You're looking for something more intentional. I don't know, you don't need somebody who's super innocent. I feel like your heart just doesn't work that way. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. Interesting. So most people nowadays, when they date, like they use these apps, right? Tinder or Bumble or whatever. And it's so easy to find people. Like it doesn't mean you click with everyone, but it's so easy to just swipe left, swipe right. And it's very instant, instantaneous. And I'm just getting the sense that that's not your jam. Like, you like to go slow. I'm seeing people maybe complaining that you take things too slow, or you're too patient, almost like, the whale is like, it's just glides through the water, and I feel like that's what you're doing. You're just kind of taking your time. And I could see how somebody might feel not attracted to that, right? They might feel like they don't want someone who's so grounded and who's always like working on love or working on themselves. They just want, something like quick. And that's not you. You're not just gonna like jump into things. I just see you working your way up to your feelings. I don't think you're somebody who will necessarily like say I love you right away. But there's a sense of like hesitancy. You might hesitate on your feelings even when you know that they're right. You might choose to work on things even when it's over. I see you being someone who could be in a relationship for a really long time, even though you know that it's over, but you're too afraid to leave. Like, there's just this hesitancy, this feeling of like, this person really takes their time. And that can annoy potential love interests because they're like waiting on you. Your pacing is really different from other people. It's not about sex for you necessarily. Like, when other people want something more, I don't know, I just feel like you're not on the same page. I also am getting the sense that you're very stuck on the past. Like, because you've been through so much, you're holding on to a lot of baggage and a lot of energy from the past. I'm also getting the sense that you might really be broody. You might like to dwell a lot on things when they're not working, and you get in these funks. I feel like what's really great about you is you're very logical. Like, you have a strong sense of logic. Things make sense to you. Like, you're able to make sense of things that no one else understands, but somehow you get it. And I feel like you have a strong foundation when it comes to love. I feel like you're very good at building like the beginning of a romance. A lot of us jump into things and we don't have a strong foundation for love, but I feel like you're somebody who you're really good at building connections from the ground up. It does mean that you can also be rigid. You can be critical when things are not going well for you. And I feel like some people might see that side of you. They might see the side that has too many boundaries, and to the point where it's limiting your ability to be in a relationship, and I'm also sensing that there's a lot of fear at times that comes up, and people can sense that on you. So it's good to be logical, but hiding behind that is bad. I mean, it's not sexy. So I do see that you're very calming. Like, I feel like you're a very calming, present person. People around you feel like they can be themselves, and there is this like deep compassion and love that just kind of radiates off of you when you're doing well. And I'm also getting that you're very stable, and secure. And I think people really like that, especially people who aren't at their best, or people who are kind of wild, because they're drawn to that energy, that anchoring energy. Your heart is very heavy, your heart is a lot. And so I feel like a lot of people might not know how to embrace it and not know how to handle it. They might feel like you're too much, like you're too overwhelming, and see you more as a burden. And I don't think that's right, but that's kind of what I'm sensing. And also that you may have a tendency to tell people the same old thing over and over again. Like, you get very, caught up in the same thing, and they're like, we've already heard that. Or, like, I don't know. I feel like you could ramble on about the past a little bit, get very nostalgic. There is only so much of that people can take. So I feel like that's something you need to look into and work on. But yeah, overall, you have to be careful not to limit yourself or be too narrow-minded. Here we go. So I am going to use some runes now. Hagalaz, now these, Perthro reversed, and Raytho. Okay, so let's start with Hagalaz. Okay, we have the Thunderbird reversed. All right, let's add some tarot cards. We have the Nine of Swords, the Sun reversed, and the Six of Swords reversed. So Hagalaz represents the hailstorm. So I'm already getting like Aquarius energy, maybe Saturn energy, so Capricorn. So Aquarius and Capricorn. If you look at Saturn in your natal chart and you can see like where it is, what house it's in, that might give you a hint to where you might meet this person. But I'm seeing that your ideal partner would be someone who is very is similar to you in the way that they really need respect and honor. I feel like they are somebody who doesn't need to be the spotlight or the center of attention, but they have this charisma about them that is so rare and so beautiful. They don't boast about it, but they just have this sense of worth. You know, they have this worth, this sense of respect. They respect themselves, they respect other people, and they just have this honor to them that is so difficult to replicate. You can't, it just doesn't happen for most people. It's very hard to achieve, and I feel like they earn a place of respect in their community. I feel like this person is going to draw you in because they have earned their spot, their sense of self. I feel like they've worked really hard on themselves and they can meet you where you are. However, Hagalaz is the hailstorm, and that also tells me that this person isn't going to be as stable as you. This person is somebody who might rile you up, somebody who really balances out your whale energy. I feel like you're going to have to just deal with this force of nature. I feel like this person is like a force. You know, this person is somebody that is just so, has this energy that's so strong and chaotic. At times you're it may not sound good, but I feel like Hagalaz is the rune that forces us to confront ourselves and kind of surrender. I feel like this person is just going to come into your life like a whirlwind, and they're going to be so impressive. You're going to be wow, I'm with this person. I just feel like they look put together, but they're kind of like a whirlwind of excitement for you. I feel like they will shake things up for you. You need someone who's going to shake things up, who's not just going to follow all the rules with you, but who's going to live it up and inspire you. And I'm getting this sense that this person is a force to be reckoned with. They are a little reckless maybe at times, but they still have they carry this kind of energy with them that is so admirable, and people really respect them even though they can be hot mess, right? I just feel like there's they're kind of a walking contradiction is what I'm getting. The Nine of Swords is telling me that you are somebody who has a lot of anxiety. It's your mental health is actually what's holding you back from meeting this person. I'm getting the sense that you have been kind of restrictive and you've put up a lot of walls, and you're so good at setting boundaries and putting yourself in a box, right? And putting things in boxes that you're not actually able to open yourself up. So I feel like you've been kind of rigid and you've made it harder for yourself to find love and be open. And I think that has a lot to do with your mental health. This is also telling me that if you want to get rid of that, I'm not telling you how to be mentally healthy, because I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist or a mental health professional, but I can tell you that you have been withholding something. I feel like there's something you need to get off your chest. And that could mean going to therapy. But I'm getting the sense that there is something that you have been keeping secret, and you have kind of acted like it doesn't matter, but you need to process it. Like there's a trauma or a past situation that is definitely coming up as well that could be causing you all this mental health, and you need to be able to open yourself up about it and stop pretending it's not there. Stop pretending everything is fine. I feel like you carry a lot on your shoulders, and you need to stop pretending that it's all okay. And then we have Revo and the Six of Swords reversed. So what this tells me is that, yes, closure. There is somebody that you still need to talk to. I feel like you're trying to push someone away when really you need to process things with them in order for you to move on. I just feel like you can't let go of the past or of the person in the past, and it's stopping you from being with who you want today. And that might mean telling them the truth about something that you've been afraid of saying. But I'm also getting the sense that there's someone that you might need to reunite with, and that person could potentially be the Thunderbird. Yay! Fun, 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 fun. All right, thank you, group number 2. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to comment below. Hello, group number 3, and welcome. So if you have picked this beautiful stone here, then you are in the right place. This is your reading, group number 3, and we're going to talk about any relationship themes or love life themes and how to manifest love, especially if you haven't found it already, and what kind of love you want or what is best for you. All right, so the Forest. Beautiful card. Love that one. Gotta shuffle. The Peacock. The Kitsune reversed. I think that's how you say it. Kitsune, Kitsune. I don't know. Sorry. And the Unicorn. Okay, so the Forest and the Peacock. I love this combination, okay? Because I'm just picturing a peacock inside of a forest, and I feel like it would be kind of cool. So for you, I'm sensing that love is an adventure. You know, it's about the journey for you. And I feel like even the good and the bad, you take it all as one. And I'm seeing you really losing yourself when it comes to romance, really getting lost, and really just like exploring. I feel like love is an exploration. It's almost like sometimes it's like an experiment for you. And I feel like you have this very playful side, this playful energy. And when you are in love, like everyone knows it. You know, you show it off, you announce it to the world. You aren't afraid to talk about it. Sometimes you like the attention, you love the attention. I mean, I'm sensing with the Peacock here that you're somebody who needs a lot of attention. You might need admiration. And I'm seeing that beauty is important to you, whether that's inside or outside, but a lot of it will be outside in this case. I feel like in relationships, physical beauty is very important for you. And often you wear it as a shield. Like you wear your beauty, your glow up as a way to protect yourself. It's interesting. But I do feel like a lot of people are drawn to you. You have a lot of admirers. I could see you being very popular on social media or just like in some kind of community where people naturally like have access to you in some way. Like I just feel like you are admired. Like I see admirers. I see people who want to be your friend, but you not necessarily wanting to be that person back. I think excitement and eccentricity is super important to you in a relationship. I feel like you're happiest when you're able to be like silly and be different people almost with the Kitsune or Kitsune. Sorry, I'm just going to say Kitsune. I really don't know, and I really should have looked this up ahead of time. I'm sorry. But yeah, so with the kitsune, I feel, see, I just did it again. All right. I feel like you might be really into role play. I feel like you don't want someone who is pure or innocent. You want trouble. I feel like sometimes you find yourself in drama because you naturally like trouble. Like you want someone who, you know, is kind of a risk taker. I see you wanting someone who isn't afraid to be naughty with you or be sexual or try new things. I just see you putting on a lot of different hats in your relationship, even if you don't really pull it off all the time. I just feel like you're somebody who can be very flirtatious, somebody who's not afraid to, you know, like go out there and get what you want. I just feel like you're somebody who can be very, just like playful, have fun. I feel like relationships are like that for you. They're not religious for you. I feel like you might even avoid marriage, avoid commitment at times because you don't want that. Like you don't want this like pure, true love. Like you want a bad boy, you know, or like a bad girl, you know. I'm just saying, like, you want somebody who isn't like the norm. Like you're not ready for that, you know. And I'm getting the sense that you would really like somebody who challenges you and someone who is able to explore with you, explore that forest and get a little crazy, get wild. I feel like you are somebody who just has this like fantasy, you know, you have like fantasies. And I think you need someone who will make those come true with you, you know, who wants to experience the wild side. I just feel like you have this ability to put yourself in other people's shoes. And it makes you happy to not have to be the same all the time. Like, I feel like you need to change it up a lot. I could see you in a polyamorous relationship or in a relationship where you're openly dating because you just have so much energy. And I feel like the way you act with certain partners is really different with other partners. Like, you have just different, you're like a chameleon. And I think that it makes you happy not to have to be that way. Like, be in the same way, or to be nice. Like, you don't want to be nice, you know. You want to have fun, you want to have sex, you want to get rowdy, like you want to just like explore and try new things. And I could see you really liking to I could see you definitely liking role play. I definitely feel like you're one of a kind, and any of your romantic love interests know it. You know, like you have this ability to just like give them everything that they want. The question is, like, are you happy? You know, like I'm sensing that you're somebody who you'll adapt really well into different relationships with different partners, but you keep a lot of people at arm's length. And I think that it's really important for you to kind of be yourself and be eccentric, but find someone who's able to, you know, be different with you, like be kooky with you, be eccentric with you. I feel like you can get really weird. And I'm getting the sense that people have trouble, like they tend to judge you based on your looks, and they think you want something when that's really not what you want. So you just got to stop listening to what everyone else has to say, honestly. I'm getting the sense that you're very creative. Like you're somebody who is able to like deal with a lot of different types of situations and different people really easily. Like you just have this ability to adapt. You're very versatile. I feel like in your relationships, happiness is everything. Bliss is everything. I feel like you're looking for some kind of bliss. Like, I also feel like your well-being is going to really make or break your happiness in this relationship or in a relationship in general. Like, I feel like you don't like to be bogged down by negativity, and there has to be some kind of guarantee that things are going to work out before you commit. I'm just getting this sense that you need to kind of know that, and you have a good intuition for these kinds of things. And I'm also getting that you have this kind of brilliance to you and vibrant personality. And you always need to know where you're going. Like, there always has to be hope for your relationship. There always has to be a sense of direction. Like, you don't have to know exactly where you're going, but you have to have direction if you're going to stay in it for the long run. Babies might actually be a big deal for you. I could see you hanging out with kids or babysitting or just surrounding yourself with kids. I feel like kids are going to be very important in your future. And they're also very important in your relationship for you. So if you're like, I don't want kids, I just see kids actually, I see you being very good with kids. I could see you taking care of children. And that has to be part of it, I feel like. Okay, so let's look at what love interests like about you. What is it that they're into about you? What draws them in? I would love to know. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands, the World, and the Seven of Wands. Okay, so I'm getting that you're very feisty. I feel like you're a very fiery personality. That it doesn't mean fire sign, but it does mean like there's a lot of passion, a lot of energy. I feel like you have this kind of, you just have this feisty energy, this sass that's kind of like, it's hot, you know? You have this, there's just like this confidence to you that is so brilliant. You have this playfulness, you know, this ability to not grow up too fast. Like, you just want to have fun. And I feel like people really can tell. And I also feel like you just have this very strong inner child, you know, it's very creative, you know, you have this kind of immaturity at times that puts people at ease, maybe. But there's also this imagination. You have such a strong imagination. You know, I just feel like you have a very charming quality, and that you're kind. You know, you're kind-hearted, you care deeply. Yeah, you can be feisty and stuff, but I just feel like you care so much. And I also see that you have a very strong sense of adventure. You know, and you want to travel, you want to do things. I feel like culture is very important to you and figuring out your place in the world. And I think people really just like resonate with you. I just feel like you can really call to a lot of different types of people. And I don't think you have a certain type. Like, I feel like you are one of those people that sees past that. The Seven of Wands tells me that you have very strong values, and I feel like you're very independent, and I think that's very sexy as well. This sense of like, I know what I want, I live my life, and I'm very independent, and I don't mind, you know, breaking the rules here and there, or taking risks, or going after what I want. I just feel like you protect those ideals of yourself, and it's hot, you know, like I just feel like you're very hot. You're very hot. But at its core, like, even if you can be a troublemaker, I just feel like you're nice. You know, you're kind. You have good intentions deep down. All right. So now we're going to look at what people don't like about you. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles, reversed, the Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. Okay, I do feel like you have a mean streak. You might channel some of your Regina George. That feistiness and that, you know, fieriness or that sass can turn into bitchiness or even mean, just being mean, like Mean Girl, you know? I do feel like you're very blunt, very straightforward, you know, with this Ace of Swords. Like, you are not going to just sit back. I could see you being that person that wants to get revenge, and people can be wary of it. I feel like your bluntness can be a little too blunt for some people, and it may not appeal to them. Other people might really like that. You know, you just got to find your tribe. I do see with the Nine of Pentacles that you may not just commit to anybody. You know, I feel like you have this aversion to commitment. Maybe you're like afraid to fully give your all, or you're afraid of your reputation, but I'm getting some fear of commitment and also like pushing people away. You can put up walls like very abruptly if you need to. And people feel like they can't fully get to know you or fully get close to you. And a lot of that isn't really you trying to be something else. It's just you have so many different like layers and facades. It's not like you're pretending to be someone else. So I feel like you might not let people get close to you sometimes. So, okay, so now we're going to look at some runes. Thorizaz, Othila, Awaz, and Gebo. I'm going to go ahead and add a card here. Ooh, the Myrmicolion. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Sheesh. Okay, we have the reversed 4 of Wands, the 6 of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm already getting Sagittarius energy here, and also Aries. I could see Sagittarius or Aries. Also, check out your Jupiter and your Mars in your natal chart because they can be indicative of like where you're going to meet your true love and stuff. So look at the houses that they're in and the signs, and they could really be helpful when it comes to that. But ideally, you belong with someone who is like your opposite. The Myrmicolion is very contradictive, you know, and it's not an easy card because it's about flaws. It's about someone who maybe even triggers those flaws a little bit, but they actually are going to be really positive for you. I see you needing someone who protects you, you know, someone who is more protective of you, who gives you like the freedom to like do whatever the fuck you want, but who has this sense of sturdiness and protection. And I can tell that this person is someone that you might not think you're compatible with, or other people might feel like you're not compatible, but you totally are. Like there's someone who is just like your opposite, like so different, and they're from a completely different walk of life, different end of the forest, you know, but you feel like they complete you. I'm just getting the sense that they have this very protective energy, this very defensive energy. They know how to like defend you. They have your back, you know, they feel like they got you, and you feel like they have you, like you have them, whatever. The point is like you feel very held by them. And I'm just getting this feeling of like this person is like your exact opposite. So why haven't you found this person yet? Right? Because if you found them, then you wouldn't be watching this probably, right? But the reason that you haven't found them yet is because of your family. I'm sensing that there's like ancestral trauma. Maybe it's like your ancestors had patterns that they have passed on to you. But I'm also getting that it could be like daddy issues or mommy issues or whatever. Like this person, there's like a hole in your heart, or like something that you've inherited from your family. Othila is very family oriented. I feel like there's a lot of conflict that is going on in your family that is adding to this. This is something that has been stopping you from meeting the one. And it could be limiting beliefs that you have because of your family, like the way you were raised. Maybe you were raised to find a certain partner or to live a certain life or follow certain social norms. And you're looking for that. And I feel like you're looking in all the wrong places. And I'm just getting the sense that there might be unresolved issues that you need to deal with in your family in order to find the one and to find this like protector who will fight for you. I feel like in the past people haven't fought for you enough, and that's stuck with you. I'm also getting with the Awaz here that in order for you to really deal with that family stuff, you need to start fresh. Like I'm seeing you need to embrace your like transformation. You can't continue in this mindset. Like, you can't continue with the family trauma. You have to let it go. I feel like there's a part of you that needs to die. Like, don't die, but like I'm saying, like, there is a part of you that you need to let go of that is holding you back, and that has to do with your family. I feel like you might have to let go of maybe a family member that's causing you pain, that is making it very difficult for you to be in this kind of situation. And we have the Six of Swords, which has to do with, moving forward and letting go of the past and healing. And I'm just sensing you're kind of in this storm, and you will move through it naturally, but you have to work on this family matter, because it's crazy how much our family dynamics growing up can impact how we introduce love into our lives and how we work through problems. And I just feel like you need to look there, because you've inherited a whole bunch of bullshit from your family, or it's not bullshit, but like you've inherited some baggage. And I'm also getting the sense that love is in the cards for you. Okay, like this is very clear to me. There is this very strong, powerful love and match for you. I do feel like there is jealousy or possessiveness that can get in the way. And I think that in the past that might have been a problem for you. And if it's not, it might still be something you have to experience. But there has to be a give and take. And I think you need to realize that you need like mutual trust with someone in order for this to work out. But I do feel like commitment's very important here. I feel like you're going to find that person. The problem is that you have to let go of this like distrust. I'm sensing like some trust issues ingrained in your psyche. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching group number 3.